Hey guys, how are we doing? Something slightly different. A few people have suggested this and I thought I'd check it out. This is from someone called Hammer on Beats. Debunking Araki Forgot. He's done part 1 and 2 in this one. Then there's part 3, part 4, part 5. I think he's done part 6, but I've not read the manga. I might be wrong on that. I mean, I'm not wrong, I haven't read the manga. I'm not sure if he's done the... But I thought it'd be fun to check this out, because a lot of people do... I'm not so heavily nerdy about JoJo's. I love JoJo's, but I'm not someone that like picks and dissects it all, so it'd be fun to see someone that actually is quite knowledgeable proving people wrong, because people seem to go, oh, Araki forgot about this, Araki forgot about that, da, 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 da. And let's see this guy, well, debunk it. Cool. That's close.
Welcome to the first part of my new series where I will be debunking Araki Forgot. I have collected a large number of these from people online, and some seem so absurd to me that I'll be showing them on screen, just so you know I'm not making these
Sweet,
up.
cool.
I wanted to go part by part for this series, but it isn't exactly possible for part 1.
Yeah.
Lots of people bring up things from part 1, but they are really about things introduced in later parts, so I'll be focusing on the first 2 parts in this video.
That's cool.
Feel free to leave whatever
I
you
couldn't
want
find my
to see later in
scarf
the
anywhere.
comments, so I can cover whatever I miss at a later time. In part 1, Will Zoppelli demonstrates Hamon by punching a frog, leaving the frog unharmed and destroying the rock underneath. Many people point out that this is seemingly contradicted by Caesar in part 2, who says that Hamon has no effect on stone.
Oh.
However, this is not the case. This is a wonky translation in the common anime subs. In the manga translation, you can see that Caesar is specifically talking about the pillar men themselves.
Whilst they are stone.
Hamon will be unable to kill them as long as they are stone.
It only works once they're awakened. Oh, wow.
Will was using the frog as a conduit to transfer the force of his punch to break the rock. While Caesar could definitely break the stone, it would have little effect. This is supported by the fate of Santana, who is still alive despite being broken apart in his stone form. Caesar himself also witnessed that the Pillarmen will absorb whoever touches them while they're made out of rock.
Yeah.
Another property of Hamon people seem to think Araki forgot is the healing. In part 1, Will meets a man who uses Hamon to heal people. He also uses Hamon to heal Jonathan's broken arm. For some reason, people keep saying this is forgotten.
He's like, oh my god,
it has no other opportunities to be used. Do people think that they could have healed Caesar or Loggins?
Yeah.
Do people think Hamon can just bring people back from the dead? I fail to see the logic in bringing this up.
A very valid point.
In part 1, Dyer manages to spit a Hamon-infused rose at Dio, while he is just a severed head. Some people ask how he is able to use Hamon, which is based on breathing, while he has no lungs. This is a misconception, as you do not need to be breathing at all times to have Hamon stored in your body. For example, Jonathan was still able to use Hamon underwater after getting a quick breath of air.
So he's holding his breath whilst using it.
And blood still flows in your body even when you're not breathing. Dyer had his body frozen, which halted his blood flow. His head was still not frozen, so he was able to use the small amount of Hamon he had left to infuse the rose. An extremely minor moment in part 1 is when Speedwagon uses his body heat to try and help Zoppelli's frostbite. For whatever reason, people think this is a supernatural ability, despite him explaining that he learned it while traveling the world. One of the strangest things I've seen is a group of people who say Araki forgot about George Joestar's ring. George looked at it as he was dying, which makes the police officer bring up the story of George letting Dario go free. Over 100 people apparently think this was meant to come back in some way after George gives Jonathan the ring. The ring is really just there for Jonathan to remember his father by when he looks at it during the fight with Dio. But apparently that isn't good enough. George actually only tells Jonathan to take it in the anime, so maybe people just assumed a larger emphasis was being placed on it.
Oh, maybe, yeah, there's something going on here.
People are so particular about this small detail.
That's weird.
A recurring example people try to use as an Araki forgot is whenever there's a minor character who appears for a short time. In part 1, the example would be the young boy character, Poco. Poco was an extremely minor character who
helped him out of a tough jam, though.
One fight. He has a completed arc where he starts as a coward and eventually becomes brave and helps Jonathan. After this, his sister is rescued. I really have no idea why people would want him to come back, since he really has nothing left to do.
Such a small character, he doesn't have anything to do with the story.
Santana entered a rock-like state to save himself. The Speedwagon Foundation kept him underneath lights so that he would be unable to escape. A lot of people seem to think this is a plot hole, and it would imply Santana would return later. Really, he's written off in somewhat of a joke panel, so I really don't see how people expected this.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Santana is such a non-threat to Joseph that he probably just dispatched him off screen. A small one that I've seen brought up a surprising amount of times is asking what happened to Joseph's
the clackers.
This is a prime example of people literally just not paying attention in the slightest, since the clackers were broken by wired back. When Santana is first introduced, Stroheim names him after the winds of Mexico. Later on, Wamu can be seen referring to him by the same name. This is after he overheard Santana's fate from the Nazis, so he must have heard the name there. The way Wamu refers to him also seems to imply that he never had a name to begin with. Cars also refers to him by name during the scene when Stroheim returns. Stroheim mentioned Santana a few moments earlier. Cars would obviously know who Stroheim is talking about since he's the only other Pillarman.
Well, yeah.
He would refer to him as Santana since that is the only name Joseph and Stroheim know him by. Another annoying thing people bring up is the motivation of Straizo. After growing old, he became jealous of Dio's immortality and decided to betray Speedwagon and steal the mask. People say that this conflicts with his previous actions, when he trained Lisa Lisa and gave her the Red Stone. Straizo was the one to raise Lisa Lisa, and taught her Hammond since childhood. Lisa Lisa even has a line where she laments that Straizo eventually lost his mind, which clearly occurred after he had begun to age.
Yeah.
Obviously, Straizo would not be concerned about his aging until the sign started the show.
Yeah.
And he didn't
Why would you care until you're
go
old?
over the edge until he learned that there were multiple stone masks. Finally, an idea that a lot of people seem to bring up is that Araki forgot about cars. I really don't understand why people would think this, since it was made very clear that Cars went insane and stopped thinking during his time in space. And that was everything I could find for parts 1 and 2.
Me and my girlfriend have so many theories about Cars, but he's just probably not coming back.
In the next video, we'll be going over some of the most common misconceptions in JoJo, when I debunk the Araki Forgot in Part 3.
Oh mate, that's gonna be class. Part 3 is my favourite as well, so that's gonna be
thank my $5 and $10 patrons.
That's gonna be boss.
Thank you Northern the Lich. Thank you Alex Ramirez. Thank you
Excuse me.
Graciana, and thank you Boat Girl.
It's amazing how like mistranslations can cause confusion and stuff like that as well. Like that's interesting how in the anime is like Hamon doesn't work on stone, and then it's actually no, it doesn't work on the Pillarmen whilst they are stone. It's like okay. But with the whole Cars thing, me and my girlfriend have got so many things where we're like, it's, one theory we have, and probably wrong, please don't spoil anything, it's just a fun thing me and my girlfriend do where we're like, whenever we bring up Cars, we're like, oh, what about the arrows? Ooh, what if like Cars is a meteor that crashed and just like separated into pieces, and then people have used his remains to make like the arrows, and that's why the arrows do what they do to create stands and stuff and things. It sounds dumb, but like, you know, when you try and make sense of things because you don't know. I really like that. I definitely can't wait for Part 3 to watch the Part 3 one. I'll do that, Part 4 and 5 as well. Part 3 is my favourite, so it'll be interesting to see what differences there are there. I'm gutted I couldn't find my scarf. And the Hamon healing thing, very, very, very funny, where he's like, what, you just expect him to just heal Caesar when it's just the stones on the floor. Let's just scoop him up. let's get all that together and then see how that works. Oh wow, that was cool. Thank you. I can't remember who suggested that, but I am looking forward to checking out the rest. I do believe Part 3's one is longer, and it would be longer because it's a much longer show. And I wonder if he brings up Part 1 bits later on as well. He did say that like there wasn't much he could focus on Part 1 until later on when people reference it. So that'll be interesting to see if he brings that up in future things as well, because it's really easy to forget stuff that happened in Part 1. But then I've watched JoJo's Part 1 to 4 twice now. Yeah, I've watched it twice. Part 5 once. Yeah, because I watched it once, and then I got my girlfriend to watch it, and I watched it with her, so yeah, I've seen it twice, and then watching it back is so much fun again to like see how different the show gets as it goes on, and I can understand why people would assume things have been forgotten, but as this guy's proving, things have not. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe if you haven't already. Leave comments down below. Let me know what I should watch and discuss in future videos. And I'll see you guys, yes, all you guys, next time.